clearly this is a team that is in need of not just a shakeup because they've had two already, but probably more shakeups to come. And so let's bring in Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype. Michael, I hope you did not have the displeasure of having to watch Raptors Grizzlies last night.
I I did not. Mostly this time of year, it's just on a lot of phone calls late at night. On the East Coast, as late as past midnight. So, been pretty busy with the trade deadline coming up, and Toronto's still going to be active. So, should be exciting coming up.
We'll talk about some of the Toronto stuff, but there was news this morning, so let's get your take on that. Kyle Lowry is headed to the Charlotte Hornets for now.
Speaking of down bad.
Miami trading Kyle Lowry and a 2027 lottery protected first to Charlotte for Terry Rozier. This one you sense coming. Is the timing of I guess my biggest question about all of these moves for you is things happening so much earlier than the trade deadline is fairly new for us. What do you make of that? And what did you make of this Lowry Rozier swap?
I mean, cue the Dwayne Wade "I love it" meme, because for me, I love it because for a couple of reasons. One, for the teams that are acquiring the players, it gives them more time to assimilate the player and get them acclimated to what they're doing. People think the trade deadline is around, the halfway point. It's not. You're only at that point looking at maybe 20 plus games or so, depending on the team schedule, 25. So to me, I think that it's good for the teams. And as far as Lowry going to Charlotte, I mean, I would say late last night, there was some word about it going around from a couple people I talked to. And then sure enough, this morning, boom. It shows you how quickly something can kind of materialize. But I think overall for Lowry, with Charlotte, him going there, a lot of people are certainly looking to see if they can flip him again and get something for him. They're obviously looking for future draft picks and core pieces that they can have with Brandon Miller, with LaMelo Ball and Mark Williams. If they could take on a contract and get future picks, I think it is something that they're open to for sure. So I don't think they're done yet. I know a lot of teams are looking at Lowry as a potential buyout candidate, Gordon Hayward as well. But we'll see. I mean, we've seen with veterans when they do hit the market, their value depreciates when they go for a buyout. So, as a player, you got to be willing to accept that at best you're going for, probably a minimum. And then if you're lucky, by the time you hit free agency again in the summer, maybe you can get towards a mid-level exception, but it depends on the player.
Yeah, I think for Kyle's case too, I mean, very competitive guy. We clearly know him a lot in the Toronto market, but he does have a ring, and maybe the desperation isn't as much to chase, but at the same time, I think there's going to be some, wrinkles in the cap that you actually can't just have him, for example, go to the Clippers.
Yeah, so right? for anyone who isn't aware or forgets or whatever, the new collective bargaining agreement will not allow teams that are above the apron to sign buyout candidates who earned more than the mid-level. So Kyle can't go to some of those teams. Philly is probably the highest end team that he could go to because they're a little bit below that apron level. Still some interesting landing spots around Philly, New York, places like that. But yeah, the Clippers are off the table for any of those guys. It's why the Daniel Tice thing was so interesting when the Pacers just agreed to let him go for no reason really, because Tice is like just below the salary point that the Clippers could still sign him. Michael, when you look at what the Heat side of this, look, the Heat are always interested, right? Their name comes up every time a star or a second-tier guy becomes available. That 2027 first-round pick that they have is one of the only assets they really had, unless a team really likes Tyler Hero and the Heat are willing to move off him. Are you surprised that it's Terry Rozier that they were willing to do this for? And I know you made the point of why earlier is better, but I kind of would have thought with Kyle and that pick and some of the other, lower tier prospects they had, maybe they could have aimed a little higher than this.
Well, I mean, the problem is like Cleveland's been telling every team that's called that Donovan Mitchell isn't going anywhere. So obviously that was a guy Miami was looking at. But if you can't get the guy and you're trying to win this year, you got to figure it out. And then next year, Rozier can become a trade asset for you if you want to move him and try to get a bigger fish. Given his contract situation, it's more appealing as he's getting towards the end of his deal. And for Miami, they think that he's a guy that can play well for them in the playoffs and fit their culture. He's a hard worker. This is a guy that in Charlotte, hasn't had a chance to play a lot of meaningful games, and now he's going to get that opportunity. They feel like it's going to rejuvenate him a little bit. He's been playing great so far this year if you look at his individual statistics. But I think from Miami's perspective, I don't know if they always agreed with the outside noise that they needed a quote-unquote star. They feel pretty good about Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, and now Terry Rozier is a guy that they're hoping can fit as a high-caliber starting player on that team that essentially fills a role player. He's not being asked to come there and be, an all-star. He's being asked to come there, fit a role, and help them win and make timely shots. But the ball's going through Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Terry Rozier is your third guy as a scorer. With Tyler Hero some nights, they can alternate between the third and the fourth guy. You got Jaime Jaquez. They've got a nice starting five, and they've always been able to find depth, finding guys off the scrap heap, guys in the G League. So, for them, they feel like this is going to help put them closer towards the top of the East, and time will tell if that comes to fruition. But in terms of being surprised, I think they scanned the market, and they came to the realization that, all right, well, Donovan Mitchell's not likely to become available before the trade deadline. We got to try to do something to win this season while maintaining some flexibility going forward. And Terry fits that mold.
Yeah, and I like the fit for them because I feel like for Miami, they have a lot of guys who move and play well without the ball, guys who can space and cut and everything like that. But aside from Jimmy, on-ball threat-wise, now you add Terry to that mix, you make them a little bit more dangerous. Okay, closer to home here in Toronto, the Raptors are not done, right? They've already moved OG. They moved Pascal. The Pascal trade, I don't even consider that completely done because Bruce Brown is, there's going to be a market for Bruce Brown. I think he's made that clear. I think the rest of the trade rumors have made that clear. What is that particular market for Bruce Brown at the moment?
Well, what's interesting was the Miami Heat were one of the teams I heard in the mix for him. Now, I don't know how much that changes now following the Terry Rozier trade because, as Blake mentioned, they lost one of the assets they would have had to dangle for him in that first-round pick down the line. So the other teams that I've heard, certainly the New York Knicks with Tom Thibodeau, that's very much a match made in heaven. However, at some point I got to wonder, how many 6'4" guards can you have on a team? That's just me.
One more, in my opinion. If you're going to give up a first-round pick to the Raptors, I'd say one more you can fit in.
And then you've got, obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers, who they're equally, I think you guys mentioned about how Miami's connected to every player. I'm pretty sure every trade deadline and free agency, the Lakers somehow get connected to every player in creation. So no surprise there, but they obviously wanted Bruce heavily in free agency with the money that they had available at the time. And then another team that I've heard come up, the Dallas Mavericks. They also wanted to get Bruce for the mid-level. They've been looking to upgrade at the 4 and the 3. They love Derek Lively. As I reported on HoopsHype, they've been turning down trade calls for him, even though a lot of teams around the league certainly value him. And obviously in the backcourt, you got Kyrie and Luka. So, they've got some room around the edges to improve. A guy like Bruce would be a good fit there. But those are some of the teams that I've heard particularly interested in trying to acquire Bruce Brown. And it's interesting because when you look at the Raptors and you look at Bruce's age, if Masai doesn't get what he wants, can you tell me that he could be on that team next year? Maybe. His age fits the timeline. It's not out of the question.
Contract's flexible.
Yeah, and you could, punt that decision down the line for next year. And obviously they've got quickly RJ. You'd have Bruce. Gary Trent Jr., not, I would say, someone that is considered a core member of Toronto. And we touched on this the last time I appeared on your show about how those contract extension talks never came to fruition. And, he's had an up and down season. So to me, I don't think it's out of the question that they keep Bruce if they don't find what they like. They've got the cap flexibility if they want to pick up the option. And then he's an expiring contract, makes him even arguably more valuable in some sentiments. So we'll see. The last thing I would say when I look at the Raptors, this is just me looking at the situation. I'm curious if we're going to hear more Jakob Poeltl chatter coming up. I know he just re-signed with the team, but given the age, do they feel like he's going to fit their core down the line, or is it better to get something now? Clearly, they're building around Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that one. That's just me.
That'll be interesting.
It's been ugly without a center. Asset wise, it's like I didn't agree with the trade at the time. The contract is full market value. He is 28, but I don't know. We got to watch these games, the next 30 games too.
Yeah, for our sake, it'll be tough. But I mean, the Raptors, yeah, as you mentioned, they're 1-7 without Jakob in the stretch here with him missing with an ankle injury. He is due to be back too, so
potentially as soon as Friday. Yeah,
yeah. Well, my favorite fake Yak trade is we return him to the Spurs for store credit.
You love this one, eh?
So you don't get your whole first round pick back, but maybe you change some of the protections so the Raptors can actually freely tank this year if they choose to do so. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not totally sure what the market
choose to do so. Even if they choose not to, if they don't choose to do so, they lost to the zombie Grizzlies last night. There might be no choose to it. Will.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry, Michael. A little lower on the chain. Are you hearing anything about any of the fringier Raps veterans, the Boucher Schroeder types, or is it a little early in this process for like is it more of a hey the Bruce Brown types are going to go, Terry Rozier types are going to go first, and then we'll circle back to the mid-level size guys?
Oh, listen, it's like I would say an Italian Sunday dinner. Everything's on the table.
7 fish. Let's go.
Exactly. Like as far as Chris Boucher goes, I mean, certainly if you can put him with Gary Trent in a trade, that you can get a lot of higher salary guys there. I don't think his standalone value is just enough to do a trade. But if you package him with a guy like Gary Trent, who's on an expiring contract, I do think that is something that Toronto is going to look at. And then I'm looking more at the expiring contracts. You got guys like Otto Porter, Thad Young, back-end guys that are going to fill a deal. Could I see Dennis Schroeder going somewhere? Possibly. All these guys are like I would say half the Raptors right now, you can tell me are going to be in trade talks in the next couple of weeks at a high level. And I'd nod my head in agreement, just given the way that the roster reconstruction has gone to this point.
Okay. I got two more questions about just former Raptors now at this point. But first, for Pascal Siakam, you mentioned earlier about, rival teams have maybe asked about like a Derek Lively, but the Mavs clearly value him, and he's a huge position of need for them. Were there any talks between the Raptors and Dallas, for Pascal, for example?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they talked, but I just like as far as assets go, I didn't think that – I never thought that was going to be the ultimate landing spot because while they were having those talks, they were also keeping tabs a little bit on Jeremy Grant, as I had touched on, and then Kyle Kuzma's another name. So if you've got that many backup options in mind, somewhere along the line, you've got to be saying to yourself, realistically, this probably isn't going to come to fruition.
Got you. And then the other one, just about OG. Clearly, he's done well in New York. Knicks are like 9-2 with OG, best defense in the league, best plus-minus in the league.
Plus-minus of infinity.
Yeah. It's basically a virtual guarantee that OG's re-signing in New York, right? But like, in terms of like the number where it might come in at ultimately, do you have any idea on that?
I mean, a lot of rival executives certainly think that he's going to end up back with the Knicks for a number of reasons. I mean, certainly he's Tom Thibodeau's type of guy. Some kind of comparisons I feel like he's drawn a little bit is when Luol Deng was in his prime and an all-star guy. Kind of fits that mold, high minutes, can play both sides of the ball. As far as the number with the Knicks, I mean, it's going to be over 30 million. The question is where, because you got to also factor in now, when I say 30 million, do I mean exactly 30 million? No. I'm sure the aggregators will want some specifics. It's somewhere over 30. Time will tell, but they also have to figure out Jalen Brunson down the line as far as potentially looking at him for an extension, and he's going to certainly get a significant pay raise, and it's well-deserved. So they're going to factor all that in. But, yeah, definitely he's a guy that a lot of people around the league, from most executives I've spoken to, believe that he will ultimately re-sign with New York. And it's certainly worth noting that at CAA, he's got a couple of agents, and one of them happens to be Sam Rose. Now, if that name rings a bell, it's because that's Leon Rose's son. So, you can read between the lines on that one, but certainly the phrase "keep it in the family" certainly comes to mind when I think of OG Anunoby and the Knicks and eventually getting a deal done. And he's going to earn a big pay raise for sure.
He deserves it.
They're acting awful New Jersey and New York these days when it comes to the family. Michael, before we let you go, you're also in Brooklyn a bunch. What do you make of where the Nets are right now? What direction? The Nets are kind of...
Dude,
I mean,
they
they're
fell
only
off- they
two
fell off
games.
a cliff.
They're
They
only
fell off
two
a
games
cliff,
up
though.
on the Raptors, and it's not any sexier watching them, even though there are some nice pieces there. Obviously, are they on a precipice of maybe becoming sellers as well? Or are they still trying to ride this thing out?
My thing is they got to pick a direction at a certain point, because you've given up all these picks to get James Harden. So, Houston pretty much runs the show with their drafts, whether it's swaps or outright picks. So they're not good enough right now. They know that. The difference now is when Sean Marks came there years ago, and they already were owing picks to Boston for the KG Paul Pierce trade, it didn't matter to Sean because it was a clean slate for him. Now, I'm curious how the optics of him trading for James Harden are going to affect things, because to me, they have certainly a bunch of guys that they can sell off if they choose. Spencer Dinwiddie's a guy, Dorian Finney-Smith is a guy, and Royce O'Neal. Now, I've touched on this on HoopsHype, but I'll share it for your listeners as well in case they may not have seen previous articles on HoopsHype. For Dorian Finney-Smith, ideally, they'd like the equivalent of 2 first-round picks. Now, does that mean just 2 straight first-round picks? No, that doesn't mean that. It could be a first-round pick. It could be a rotation player. It could be a young player. But essentially the equivalent of 2 first-round picks. Royce O'Neal, in an ideal world, they'd like to get a first-round pick later in the first round, somewhere in the 20s. Does that mean it's going to happen? Could be protected. If not, can they get a boatload of second-round picks? I'm pretty sure they could. But he is a fan favorite of some Nets fans, and also just with Jack Vaughn. Jack Vaughn loves Royce O'Neal. So something to keep in mind there. And also he's a good friend of Donovan Mitchell. So if they're going to make a run for Donovan Mitchell and he's with the team past the deadline, I would just keep that one under your hat for down the line. Wow. Regarding Spencer Dinwiddie, he's had a kind of up and down role a little bit this year, even though he's been the starting point guard. And there are some contending teams that could look at him in the final year of his contract as a rental that could be worthwhile. I think now as the Terry Rozier trade went down, you're going to see more calls on that front. Also with Toronto, I know because you guys had tried to trade for Nick Claxton previously, people ask me about him and his future. But by all accounts, the Nets are making it seem like they're going to pay him in the offseason. And then you can kind of go from there if you're going to keep him not long term. Maybe you flip him down the line, but they don't want to lose an asset like Nick Claxton for nothing. He is unrestricted, but they've got the ability to pay him as much as they want. So that's kind of the landscape as far as Brooklyn goes. They don't have an incentive to tank, given the fact of all the draft pick compensation. But I don't know if there's a move, and this includes DeJounte Murray that's been kind of floated out there. I don't know if DeJounte Murray is going to take them to a higher level either. He's been playing great. And they have, Dinwiddie's contract would fit what I've reported, that Atlanta doesn't want to ideally take back salaries, but are they willing to give up 2 first-round picks? I'd previously reported they've shied away from that in Brooklyn. So, I mean, time will tell. We still got, about, 2 weeks plus a little bit before the trade deadline. But at least as of right now, still surveying the market. And potentially, if they did want to go that route and you get a pick or maybe 2 for Dorian Finney-Smith, do you then maybe change your stance and say, well, now we have extra capital in the draft, and maybe then it makes more sense to go for DeJounte. Maybe we can use other picks. There's a lot of dominoes that are still yet to fall in Brooklyn. Certainly with the Knicks, Raptors, that whole division is pretty interesting. Not everybody's like Boston, where they're at the top of the heap. So.
Or scoring 70 points like they are in Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia's not done either. I know that much. Daryl Morey will do something.
They've got the picks as well from the James Harden trade to get something done. They've got cap flexibility in the future to take on a guy. You guys touched on Kyle Lowry a little bit earlier. I think with Kyle, certainly he'd be a good fit there as a backup point guard. Villanova guy. It makes logistical sense. But there's going to be, if he hits the buyout market, there is going to be a bevy of suitors for him. I think that, when you've got a guy that's a proven playoff guy and won a ring, it all matters. As long as he's willing to come in and get, rotation minutes, it'd be worthwhile for sure. But been a crazy time in Raptorland when you look at how that team won, that won the chip. Now it's like Chris Boucher is there, and you look around and you feel like Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when they move out.
Yeah, I know. You're telling us, man. We're now talking about Kyle Lowry as a buyout guy. Well, the times have really moved on. Michael, appreciate you. I'm sure you're really busy, so I appreciate you taking the time. Everyone go find his work over at HoopsHype, host of the HoopsHype podcast as well. Lots of great details, as you can tell. So appreciate you, and we'll call you soon.
You got it, fellas. Anytime.